Welcome to my channel, my name is Skylent, and if you've been watching my stream at twitch.tv/Skylent, you know I've been playing a lot of tactical CCGs. And if you got the question, what is a tactical CCG? Oh, well, hopefully this list will kind of explain that for you, but basically take something like a tactical game like XCOM or Final Fantasy Tactics and add in card collecting and deck building elements, maybe something like Magic the Gathering. Fuse those two together and you're beginning to get the image. Now, this video that you clicked on, title above, for exactly, is going to be a top 10 tactical CCG coming out in 2016. Some of these games are already full release, they're already gold. Some of them are playable, maybe in betas or alphas, and some of them are locked behind early access or completely not playable at all. However, they all should fully release in 2016, and the stipulation is that they have tactical elements and they have CCG elements. That's pretty much it, because the genre itself is actually kind of exploding, and it's not really defined specifically. Now, some of these games are going to look really, really different. They take inspiration from different tabletop games and, of course, add in card elements. So this list is going to have a lot of varied content. Mechanically, strategically, tactically, each and every one of these games is pretty different from the last. And since all of them are going to be free to play, I'm going to have to say that they're all probably worth at least trying once. Definitely a unique experience in a new emerging genre. I like doing those kind of top 10s. So yeah, these are the kind of games I like playing on my stream. If you want to go check it out, twitch.tv/Skylent. But without further ado, let's get into the list. Coming in at number 10, we have a game called Cards and Castles. It's got a really simplistic art style that reminds me, aesthetically and mechanically, of a game called Scrolls, which was canceled tragically. Anyways, in its place, we're gonna say Cards and Castles. It's a cool game, it looks cute, it runs on mobile devices perfectly, and you can play it on PC, cross-platform, all that good stuff. It's gonna be kind of a trending thing with all these games. Digital card games, they tend to be a combination of casual and competitive. It's really good to play on the go. Of course, it makes sense that they're gonna be cross-platform with mobile devices. And Cards and Castles is sort of like the base game to get into. The board is really small, very linear, basically lanes, incredibly similar to Scrolls. However, this game is actually functional and actually released. Now, our number 9 game is a game called Zebs, which has a very small population, which is why it's actually so low, because otherwise, aesthetically, it reminds me a lot of like the hardcore art of Magic the Gathering, and a lot of the play elements also kind of seems brought over from Magic the Gathering. Except Zebs has a very big playing board, a lot bigger than most of the games on this list. It's very large, and there's a whole lot of tactical play going on with the board. However, the game is also still not even completely functional. A lot of the elements to its game, like many of the cards that you think should exist, simply don't at the moment. It's super early in development. I do have a lot of hope for it, so I did put it on this list. However, in its current state, I don't think that it is truly playable or competitive, but it is something to look forward to potentially maybe coming at the end of this year. And coming in at number 8, we have a mobile tactical CCG called Labyrinth. Now, you can play this on Steam for early access. It will be coming to all mobile devices as well, cross-play, and it is going to have asynchronous gameplay. However, the namesake game mode, the Labyrinth mode, is actually not in the game right now, which is why the game is so low on the list. You see, this game is supposed to epitomize, emphasize, and really just completely focus on the deck building experience, the actual act of building decks. You actually have two components to this game. You have the Labyrinth, which is your defensive deck, which people attack asynchronously, and then you have your hero deck, which you mechanically go and participate and fight in other people's labyrinths. Kind of seems like gameplay is similar to Clash of Clans, except as a tactical CCG instead of a pseudo RTS tower defense thing. It essentially works like that if it actually worked, if it actually had its Labyrinth game mode, and so for that reason, it's number 8. At number 7, we have a game called WarTile, which is incredibly gorgeous. For what it aimed to be, the aesthetic is sort of diorama-ish. It's very much tabletop thrown into the digital space, but they have done more than that. In fact, a lot of games that we've seen now are kind of withdrawing from turn systems, or they do similar turns, or they just completely go for real time, like Nova Blitz. WarTile is the same. This is actually a tile-based RTS with CCG mechanics. However, it still has an overarching tabletop and tactical design, so yeah, I think it fits with tactical CCG. Now, the CCG component is with spells as well as collecting your different units. What's really cool though is this kind of works like a party forming game and a party collecting game, because you do have to collect these different units, but you also outfit them with different kind of equipments and stuff. So it definitely has deck building elements, though it's separated between spells and units. And then you have the actual tactical gameplay, which is like kind of leveled up because it is played in real time. Honestly, it's only so low on the list because it's not fully kickstarted yet. It's still early in development, but from what I've played, it was absolutely fantastic. Coming in at number 6, we have a game called Nova Blitz. Now, this game is pretty interesting, I guess, if you think about it in the context of the list. Like, should it even be on this list because it actually doesn't have a playing board. However, it does have the tactical elements of being in real time. That's right, guys, this is a real-time CCG. This is only something that could exist in a digital CCG format, and we see this with other games that do turns at the same time, that are real-time, like WarTile, and Nova Blitz is like that. It doesn't have a playing board, though, so my definition earlier of tactical CCG is a little bit skewed and a little bit gray, and I said that was probably going to be the case with a lot of these games. However, because it is real time, it does have some tactical elements, and of course, it focuses completely on the normal CCG mechanics, just, you know, added on with RTS mechanics, and I think that's definitely enough to push it on this list, and it's so high on the list because it seriously looks exceptional, and even though it's kind of waning away from the tactical aspect of this top 10 list, as a CCG, it looks completely refreshing, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Halfway on the list, we have a game from Supercell called Clash Royale. Supercell is the makers of Clash of Clans and Boom Beach, so the game's going to look amazing, play amazing, and all in all be a very polished product. However, it does have some pitfalls. Despite it being the epitome of competitive tower defense, Clash Royale does have a little bit of a hindrance because of its CCG mechanics, which is very intense. It's very RNG-oriented. It takes a lot of grinding to get any cards, and it's time-gated, just like Clash of Clans, which means you have to pay money to really even do anything at all, like even for the chance to get cards, and then it's RNG at that. So the card collecting leaves something to be desired, plus the matchmaking is completely unbalanced. You play against people that not only have more cards, which is always a sort of pay-to-win mechanic with CCGs, but they have stronger versions of those cards. Literally, you have card like evolving or card leveling in this game. So despite it being probably the best in the genre, at least at the moment, and a great looking game, honestly, the payment scheme keeps it at just number 5. Plants vs. Zombies Heroes is our number 4. Now, Plants vs. Zombies was the single best game for lane defense. It was the first game that really brought out from tower defense to proper lane defense. There's not even a single lane, there's multiple lanes, and then you have multiple enemies coming down these lanes. It like that. Now, you can see how a lot of other games have built from that, like Cards and Castles, Scrolls, as well as Wargaming's World of Tanks Generals, which is not on this list. Plants vs. Zombies Heroes is soft launch. It's not globally launched. We don't have access to it everywhere. It's only specific territories, but it looks really good, and I have a lot of hope for this game. It is taking a page from Clash Royale, it absolutely is, but it's going to add its own flair with Plants vs. Zombies, of course. And because this is a franchise that is sort of an originator of its own unique genre, I think that it can translate that to PvP perfectly well, as long as the monetization scheme is appropriate. Now, here's something that's very different, very different, in fact, from any other game on this list and any other game pretty much, period. It's really less of a digital CCG, less of a digital tactical game, and it's really more of a digital tabletop game. So there's not even turns, but it's not real time. It's more like you draw cards, and then you place cards on like these tiles, and then whenever the turn starts, the true turn, you both characters, the rival and you, go through the board, through this like journey, and you fight the cards that you placed in the order that you place them. Some interact with your rival, some hurt you, some will heal you, you know, you spend currency. There is a lot of tactic to the game, but it's like really weird. Like there is a playing board, but you don't actively like utilize the playing board. You don't actively move units at different turns. It's like everything happens at once. It's just all sorts of weird, but it looks cool. It's hard to describe, but because of that, it is a unique experience, and it is a good experience. I don't know. It's got tactics. It's got CCG. I'm putting it at number 3, guys. At number 2, we have the game that is basically championing the entire genre. On its shoulders, this is the Atlas of tactical CCG. That game is Duelist. It's got gorgeous painted digital art in the background, but it's also got these gorgeous pixel art characters with really fantastic animations. The audio quality, the explosiveness of this game is really fantastic for a turn-based card game. It's just got a whole lot of oomph that makes it feel really good. Now, the art style can be a turn-off or turn on. It's like a love-hate relationship with a lot of people, I'll admit it, but mechanically the game is sound. It's really like you take Final Fantasy Tactics with Hearthstone, mix it together, and that's basically Duelist. It's got a lot of creativity, true, but at the same time, it's very grounded in things that we already know exist. In tactical games, in Hearthstone type of games, it's nothing like super duper crazy. It's actually really easy to get into, and it just looks really fantastic, and overall collecting the cards is not that difficult for a CCG. It's pretty easy to accrue accrue the deck that you want and play the way that you want, which in this game, because of the tactical elements, because of the very unique card mechanics, all in all, it really exemplifies both tactics and CCG an equal amount. For that reason, it is number 2. And my number 1 for Tactical CCG here for 2016 and probably forever is going to be Faria. I really like Faria. If you've been watching my stream, twitch.tv/Skylant, you know I've been playing a lot of Faria. It's actually like my main game on my stream right now because I think it is just so exemplary of tactical games, of CCG games, of just games, period. It's just a really well thought out game that's very, very fun. Now, it is early access currently, not full release. It is not gold, but when it does release, it will be free to play and cross play with mobile devices. Let's talk about Faria's unique gimmick. What is the mechanic that separates it from the rest? And that is going to be the tactical element of being able to make the board as you play it. So yeah, this is a board game type of card game. You do have a board to play, but kind of similar to Magic the Gathering, you have lands that are used as resources for summoning cards. Except in Faria, you literally place those lands on the board. The Faria element is also very unique, kind of similar to the mana in Hearthstone, except the fact that it doesn't refill every turn. Instead, you get a set amount every turn, and there's literally no cap. So you can do as big a combos as you want if you're patient and strategic enough. But now, the actual art of the game is really pleasing. It's soft, it's not too harsh like Duelist is, and it's got a lot of character. Overall, user experience is phenomenal. But a lot of people play cards because of the unique cards, the deck building, you know, the actual effects of cards, building different decks around very unique gimmicky cards, and Faria has an infinite amount of potential for that. Because more so than any other card game that I've played, other than Hearthstone, we have some really interesting and unique effects coming in Faria, and they all generally play around the strategic element of the different lands, the placement of lands, and the movement of units. There's a lot of different ways to play this game with the different themes, so if you're a fan of Magic the Gathering, actually, and you like that complexity with the game, but at the same time a little bit more intuitive and kind of translated into a tactical playing field, that game is Faria. Literally a living board as you play. In a tactical CCG top 10 list, I have to put it at number 1. See guys, didn't I say that a lot of these games are going to look very different from the others? Yeah, well, the genre is emerging, and that's the kind of top 10s that I do. If you're interested in finding out new games and discovering entirely new experiences, then you're gonna wanna like and subscribe because that's pretty much what this channel is all about. Now, if there's any game that I didn't mention, I tried to mention some that I didn't even put on the list, then go ahead, leave it in the comments below, and we could try those out. Finding new games is a community effort anyways, just like playing them. So hopefully you had fun watching the video, and more so, hopefully you have fun playing the games. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time.